Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be trying out the new Morphe Fluidity line. So if you'd like to see my thoughts and a wear test, please keep watching. So I did purchase the brush and sponge trio. It came in this box right here. It comes with a M439, which is this foundation brush right here. It actually feels pretty good. And then it comes with a M173 mini buffer brush, which I think I'm going to use to blend out my concealer. And then it comes with a sponge. I went ahead and got this damp, and I haven't put it on my face yet, but just the way it feels, I prefer this Morphe sponge over that one. Like, I don't know, I can already tell. So the brush and sponge trio retails for $19. I also picked up one of the primers. There was only two to pick from, and this one just seemed like it would be like the most hydrating, so I guess we'll see. This is the Revitalizer primer. So on the back it says blurs and softens imperfections, instantly makes skin feel moisturized, which I need because I have dry skin. And it says free of oils and parabens. Oh my gosh, the way this neck line on this shirt is stretched out is gonna drive me insane. So this primer retails for $12. It has 9 reviews and I think it's rated 5 stars. It's kind of hard to tell. So it says, let's talk feelings. This lightweight primer not only blurs and softens imperfections, but it also leaves your skin feeling moisturized with just a thin layer. You're in for the prime of your life, Morphe babe. It also has a few like tips listed. It says, wanna be a glow it all or matte master cocktail foundation primer with Fluidity foundation to get exactly what you want. You do you. To create a glowy dewy finish, mix a pearl size amount of Revitalizer foundation primer with a dime size amount of Fluidity foundation and apply with a damp sponge. Get with matte. To create a seriously mattified finish, apply a pearl size of Equalizer foundation primer all over your face and then use a press and roll motions with the M439 Deluxe Buffer Brush to buff in Fluidity foundation. A few extra tips. You can apply foundation primer with a brush, your fingers, or both. To apply it like a moisturizer and get even coverage, a brush is bomb for working in corners or areas with more texture. If you have combination skin, double down. Apply Revitalizer foundation primer where your skin is dry and Equalizer foundation primer on parts that tend to get too shiny. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. I don't really have high hopes for it being really moisturizing, so I'm gonna take about that much for now. Ooh, it stinks. I guess it does feel moisturizing. Doesn't feel as moisturizing as my Laura Geller one though that I love, but it feels more moisturizing than I thought it would. Like, I feel like I'm gonna need like more. I mean, it feels okay, so I hope it works. Now I'm going to be trying out the foundation. So I thought I did a really good job picking out my shade, but I didn't. So if you live near a Morphe, I would highly suggest going in store and finding your shade, because I thought I did a good job and then it came and I was just like, no. So also, we just put our pool up last weekend and I was trying really hard not to get in it. I even layered myself with so much sunscreen so I wouldn't get any kind of tan, and I did. So this is probably going to be way too light, but this is the only shade I have, so I apologize. We're going to try to make it work. I picked up the shade F1.120. That's the other thing that bothers me, is like these numbers. There's so many numbers. It's just like confusing to me, but they did send over this little card right here that has about 12 different shades that are like around the shade that you purchase. So I do think that this is cool. And then it also says if it's neutral, warm, or cool undertones. According to my F1.120, it's neutral with light neutral undertones. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. It says it's a full coverage foundation, 24-hour long wear, sweat-proof, transfer resistant, water resistant, free of oils, fragrance, and parabens. Great for all skin types is what the back of the box says. So this is what it looks like. I mean, doesn't it look like a little like tan yellow to you? It actually might be dark enough. I don't know, but I can't tell if this is just like a sticker like on top of it, because if you look right underneath, it looks like the product is a different shade than like what this is. So, But this foundation comes in 60 shades, so that is amazing. The most foundation shades I think I've ever seen on a foundation is the MAC Fluid one, I think, and then for drugstore, the most shades I've ever seen is from the CoverGirl Matte Made. So 60 different shades to pick from, so everyone should be able to find their shade. If not, like, I'm sure like you could mix like a couple. And then this foundation retails for $18. It has 4.5 stars. Finally, a foundation throwing major shade, 60 to be exact, shades to fit you and you and you. Because the shade struggle is real, meet a long-wearing full coverage foundation that performs like a boss and is not caught in the middle or playing sides, but instead values your hue and your wallet. The shade game is officially over. Your face has finally found its place in the world. Say hello to an all-in-kind foundation, all soft matte coverage, all the time for all our babes. And then 24-hour long wear, sweat-proof, transfer-resistant, water-resistant, free of oils, fragrance, and parabens, great for all skin types. And then it has like a list of like the shade names and then if they're neutral, warm, or cool undertones. So I think if I end up liking this foundation after today, I'll probably go get like a darker shade, but I'm gonna do that in store for when I'm tan. Oh my gosh, there are so many pro tips on this foundation. It says how to apply. It looks bomb when it's applied to prep skin. The right amount of product is used and is blended using the tools that are best for your skin type and the coverage you want. So it says begin by cleansing your face, apply a foundation primer, start application with a small pea-sized amount of foundation. A little goes a long way. Use a damp sponge or a buffer brush, which we're going to try both. It says this formula can set quickly, so continue by applying it in sections. Okay, that's good to know. If your skin is oily, set the foundation with filter effect finishing powder, which... ooh, I do have that. I forgot to pick that up. And then finish with continuous setting mist. For a glowy finish, it says mix 1 drop of your favorite liquid highlighter into a pea-sized amount of foundation and apply using the steps above. A few extra tips. Everyone's skin tone varies, so decide if you want to match your foundation to your face, neck, or décolleté. When you're looking for that perfect match, let the shade dry down completely before you decide if it's the one. So I guess they're saying that's going to oxidize. Remember that the depth of your skin tone can vary based on the season and your exposure to sun, so the shade you wear in the summer might be different than your winter hue. I feel like that's a lot of information. Alright, so let's give this a go. And you do get 1 fluid ounce. Okay, first impressions, I just put way too much on the back of my hand, but it looks kind of runny. And for this being a neutral undertone, I hope you can tell, it definitely looks like a warm yellow. It looks yellow to me, like maybe not on camera, but in person, I'm like, well, maybe you'll be able to see when I put it on my face. Yeah, to me that doesn't look, I don't know, when I look at the viewfinder it looks neutral, but when I look in my mirror it looks yellow. So I'm gonna try out the sponge. I'm gonna use the flat side. And to me, it smells like the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, like it smells like paint. And it does seem to be drying down really fast. I'm not a big fan of the sponge, I know that right off the bat. But the foundation does feel like really, really lightweight. And I do think that it's going to end up being full coverage for sure. I actually think the shade is going to work. I think. It's not as light as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I definitely think this is full coverage. Dries down really fast and it feels really lightweight on the skin, and I still have a lot, so a little goes a long way. So I'm gonna do the other side with the M439. Okay, I like the brush, but I'm not a big fan of the foundation with this brush, I guess. I don't know. I think I like it with a sponge better. I feel like I had to use less product with the sponge, and now I have to use more with the brush, which is weird because normally it's like the opposite. So that's kind of weird. Oh, I really do like this brush. I really like the foundation so far. I just don't like the two together, I think. The but this is a really nice brush. It's not too dense, but it's not too squishy either. It's like perfect. But I think that if you had oily skin, you would probably really like applying this foundation with the brush. But because I'm dry, I just prefer the sponge, I think. So this is what my skin looks like up close. It's definitely matte. I'm not too sure if I'm a big fan of that primer because it's not as moisturizing as I need it to be. So I feel like I'm gonna start to see like my dryness start to come through throughout the day because the primer wasn't as moisturizing as I needed it to be. Because like right here, I feel like I can like really see some like dryness start to pop through. And right here. So I kind of want to add a little bit more foundation like on my nose and my cheeks right here because I need a little bit more coverage and I want to see if I can build it up to like super full coverage, but I'm pretty sure the concealer is supposed to be full coverage. So I think I'm going to pass just because I don't want my face to look even more dry. So next I'm going to be trying out the Fluidity concealer. I have the shade C1.25. It says full coverage concealer. Instant full-on concealing power, blendable, multitasking formula, free of fragrance and parabens, which I'm pretty sure that's what the foundation said, and it definitely smelled like paint. So this retails for $9. Ooh, and mine is pretty light. I like the packaging though. So this concealer comes in 31 shades. And then it says, show blemishes, imperfections, and under eye circles. Who's the boss babe? You. This creamy AF full coverage concealer can multitask like a mofo. Not only will it leave you with super blendable concealing powder, but it brightens and contours like nobody's business. Game on. 16-hour wear, sweat-proof, transfer-resistant, water-resistant, free of fragrance and parabens. This says, it's not just for spot correcting, babe. To find the Fluidity concealer shades that are right for you, decide how you want to use them. Conceal it all. If you want to use Fluidity concealer to cancel out your skin concerns, think about what imperfections you want to hide or color correct. Use warm yellow and golden shades to neutralize redness and inflammation. Use a cool or neutral peach-based shades to counteract the yellow, bluish hues of under eye circles. Use a cool pink tone to brighten and lighten brown tones. And then it says, when applying, choose a brush that best fits the area you'd like to cover and start small. Use sweeping motions for soft wash coverage or stippling motions to build coverage. Hit the highlights after concealing any imperfections. Get your highlighting game on. Pick a shade that's 2 shades lighter than your skin tone and your undertone, then apply it to the high points of your face. Be a contour queen. After bringing out the natural contours of your face, create the extra bit of definition with a slightly deeper concealer shade. Choose one that's 2 to 4 shades deeper than your skin tone and neutral undertone, and then apply. I usually don't cream contour with concealers. I use like a cream bronzer stick or a cream contour stick that's made for that. I don't really use concealers for that. So I'm not going to be doing that today, so I'm going to be taking this one. So it is like a flat doe foot. And again, for this being like... So I'm going to use the M173 and just kind of press that in. I mean, this brush looks similar to the other Morphe concealer brushes that I use to blend out my concealer, but I don't know what it is. I don't really like this one. And this concealer, I'm pretty sure it said it was supposed to be creamy. To me, it feels super matte and drying. Which, having a matte foundation and a matte concealer is not the best combo for my skin. And I feel like the brush is like... this is not doing a very good job blending that concealer. So I'm going to switch over to the Morphe G38. Yeah, I did not like that brush. It was like making the concealer like blend out like really patchy. Yeah, I don't think I can wear this concealer and foundation together because it is just too much matte for my skin. Ooh, and it dries really fast. It's just so weird to me when companies claim to be for all skin types and then clearly it's not. So I'm gonna add a little bit more concealer on my nose because I feel like that foundation got picked up from that brush. So So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more, and I'm gonna use the sponge. See if I can rebuild up some coverage. I feel like I could definitely wear the foundation with a more moisturizing primer. I just can't use this primer with this foundation. And I definitely think that I would really like the concealer, but not with this foundation. So I feel like I would have to use the foundation with a more dewy luminous concealer, and then I would have to use this concealer with a more dewy luminous foundation. Like, I can't do like matte foundation with matte concealer. It just doesn't work for my skin. But I do like the shades of both. So now I'm going to be trying out the Filter Effect Finishing Powder. This says buildable, sheer to medium coverage, creamy, lightweight formula, shine free and oil absorbing, selfie approved. I have the shade 3. So this is the compact. This is what it looks like. The mirror's pretty nice. And then you do get a little sponge on the bottom, which I'm not going to be using. But this, I guess we'll find out. So let's read some information about that. Alright, so this powder retails for $12. Ooh, they actually have a white shade. I might like that to set my concealer to brighten up my under eye. This comes in 15 shades. That scroll-stopping, jaw-dropping Insta-look, it's all you, Morphe babe. You'll be killing the complexion game with this shine-free, oil-absorbing, pressed finishing powder that completes or freshens up any look. The bomb coverage and silky soft formula means each one is good enough to swipe on over bare skin or a beat face. With one at home and one in your bag, you'll be getting all the likes, all of them. The pro tips say, if you like to wear a full beat, consider using a Filter Effect Finishing Powder shade that is just a tad lighter than the shade you normally wear. It says to use it with either an M581 Pro Pointed Powder Brush, which I don't think I have, and then a M570 Tapered Powder Brush, which I might have those, but I don't know. Then this says, looking for a bomb way to bronze, choose a shade that's 2 to 3 shades deeper than your skin tone and use it for a bronzer. To up your highlighting game, choose a shade that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone and apply it to the high points of your face. Finishing powder is a killer at helping to sharpen and clean up a look. To get your contour looking sharp, apply the powder with a highlight and contour beauty sponge against your contour color for extra definition. Craving even more coverage, set your look with continuous setting mist, then apply Filter Effect Finishing Powder. Repeat with layering more mist and powder until you get a flawless look. That would be way too much for my skin, so I'm not going to do that. And foundation seems like it's set down pretty fast. Like, I probably really don't need to set it, but we're gonna do it anyway. So I'm gonna take this Morphe brush. We'll start off with this one. We might need a more dense one, but this is the Morphe E41. I'm just gonna dip in here. Press that into the skin. Feels like I did a really good job like setting my foundation, and it doesn't seem like I have to use a lot of it. I'm just gonna run a little bit of this on my nose. I like that powder. I think I'm gonna get the white one to set my concealer. So this is what my skin looks like using the foundation, concealer, and the powder. I am super matte right now. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'll come back and let you guys know how everything went on and like my thoughts and stuff. So it is 12:15 right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that the call time, because then I know to keep it on till 10:15, because I always like to do my foundation first impressions for a full 10 hours. So I'm going to jump off here, finish up my makeup, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Oh my god. So I'm going to tell you everything that's on my face first, and then I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking, and it's not good. So for bronzer, I took a mixture of these two. This is the Laura Geller Baked Impressions bronzer in the shade Light. This is what it looks like. This is a really good bronzer to like contour the center of your face with, because it is so light. And then I just went on top of it with Hoola Light, just to kind of like deepen it up a little bit. For blush, I used my Wet n Wild Fantastic Plastic Pink. Such a beautiful blush. For highlighter, I busted this guy out. This is the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter. Mine has been very well loved. This is in the shade Radiant Lights. It's really pretty. It's nice and like subtle, kind of natural glow. But if you wanted to amp it up, you could always get your brush wet. For brows, I went crazy and I had to fix them because I forgot how pigmented this brow product was and how easily it glides. This is the Kat Von D Blonde 24-Hour Super Brow Pomade. Wow, okay, I do love this. I love the shade of it and everything, but like a little bit goes a long way and I totally forgot about that. Then I just used my Model in a Bottle eyebrow sealer to set them. I threw on some Kiss number 11 lashes. I just ran the bronzer and the highlighter through my crease, so that's all I have for eyeshadow. For lips, I used my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner. Then I busted this out. This is the Buttercup from Gerard Cosmetics. You guys, I bought this when it first launched, so it has to be a good 3 years old. And, I mean, it looks fine and it doesn't have any hairs or, well, not, I just say it. And then to top it off, I use this Milani Bare Pink Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper. So my lips look humongous right now, but I'm loving this lip combo. I think it looks really nice. And then I just baked a little bit with my Laura Mercier translucent powder to set my face. I used my MAC Fix Plus and then my Milani Make It Dewy. Alright, so now I'm going to tell you what I really feel. So when I did that close up for you guys right before I left to show you what my skin was looking like, I was like, oh, it doesn't look that bad because I'm looking in the viewfinder. Then when I brought my mirror this close to me so I could finish up my face, I was like, oh my god. My under eye looks so disgusting. Oh my goodness. I haven't had this dry of an under eye in I don't even know how long. It is so dry and crusty and cakey underneath here. When I went to go set the concealer, I was like contemplating taking it off. Like that's how bad it is. It looks so bad. Like from a distance, I really like how my makeup looks really good. And then up close, I'm like, ugh, ew. This is so crusty. I tried to like put some eyeshadow down a little bit lower to try to like cover up like the crustiness, I guess, and it just, no, it's not working. And then all the way around is just so dry, but especially where I put the concealer. So like I was telling you guys, like my skin cannot handle matte concealer and a matte foundation at the same time because it just can't. Like I have to do either or, and yeah, yikes. So hopefully you can tell how disgusting it is right here. I'm not really sure, but it is so dry. Like my face is so dry. I'm gonna look up close in my little mirror. Yeah, my under eyes look horrible. Chin. Like the foundation went into my like laugh lines right here. It went straight into my forehead lines. My forehead looks like kind of flaky. The only thing that looks good is like my cheek area. So the only thing I could think of for the rest of the day is maybe here in about 4 hours when I do another check-in, my natural oils will kind of come through and it'll help kind of like dewy up my face and maybe I won't be so matte, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. I really think that if I used this with a dewy foundation and this with a dewy concealer, it would be just fine, but together it is just too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here and go throughout my day, and I will see you guys back here in about 4 hours for a check-in. Hey guys, so I'm here for my 4-hour check-in. It is 4:27. So I've had this on for a little bit over 4 hours, and you guys. So the concealer is definitely a no-go for my skin with this foundation because underneath here is so disgusting. Like it's so bad. It's like so many creases. It just looks super dry. It just does not look good. Although the foundation I feel like is getting a little bit better as like my natural oils are coming up. It doesn't look as like cakey and dry as it did 4 hours ago. but I definitely think I cannot use this primer. I think this primer is what started my downfall. And then trying to mix a matte foundation with a matte concealer just was like icing on the cake for my skin. But other than that, I don't hate it. So I'm debating on whether I want to add like a couple of clips after this like wear test of me trying the foundation with my Laura Geller Moisturizing Under Eye Makeup Primer, and then seeing if I like it better that way, because I think I'm almost like 90% sure I will love this foundation if I use it with that primer. And then maybe I'll add a clip in trying this concealer with a more hydrating foundation. So I think I'm going to add a couple clips at the end of this because I don't want to give up. You know, like I at least want to like put some effort into it and make things work. This is what my skin looks like up close. I won't be able to tell if you guys can see this until I go back to edit this video, but if I can zoom it in even more when I edit it, I'll do that so you can see it. But under here just looks so gross. But I really like how my cheeks look. I think they look okay. I think my forehead looks better now after this has been on for a little bit than it did when I initially put it on. And the shade actually isn't too bad. Like I thought it was going to be way too light, but I think it's okay. Hey guys, so I'm here for my 8-hour check-in. It is 8:19 right now. And let me see. My under eyes still look bad. Forehead looks okay. Cheeks look okay. Around my nose looks really dry, and my chin. So pretty much everywhere I put that concealer doesn't look very good, but I do feel like I'm like a little oily on my forehead. So I'm just gonna apply just a little bit of powder there. So I'm gonna take the Morphe powder. Again, this is in the shade number 3. So I definitely have been going back and forth with this foundation for the last like 8 hours. Like I like it and then I don't like it. Then I like it and I don't like it. I'm like 50-50, but the concealer, I almost like absolutely don't like it. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep this on for another 2 hours and I'll be back to give you guys my final thoughts. But other than that, I stayed pretty matte. I went out in like 100-degree weather and went to the grocery store and stuff like that. So I did get in the heat and I did kind of like sweat a little bit and it still stayed in place, like minus the dry patches around my nose and my mouth. But like my forehead looks good, cheeks look good. So it did stay in place, but it's just too drying for me. So hey guys, so I'm back with my final check-in. It's 10:30. So I decided that I'm definitely going to try the foundation again tomorrow for a few hours, and I'm going to use my Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Moisturizing Under Eye Makeup Primer. I'm going to use these two together and give this foundation a second chance since the Morphe Revitalizer just like wasn't enough moisturizer for me. It wasn't moisturizing enough for me. So I'm going to try these two babies again tomorrow. But I think that I'm actually going to end up liking this. I just need to find the best primer to go with it. So I think I do like this, and I do like the shade of it. I thought it was going to be way too light, but it did oxidize just a smidge, so definitely keep that in mind. They did mention it in the description on the website as well. And then I just kind of like bronzed more than I usually would just to try to like match the rest of my body. Like you can still tell my face is lighter than my body, but. So I really want to talk about the brush, sponge, and trio set. So this is the M439 foundation brush. I do like this. I just didn't like it with the foundation, but I really like this brush in general. I don't like this, but it did come in a set, so it's just kind of like whatever. This is the M173. I just prefer my other brushes better to blend in concealer. I don't know, maybe I could use this for like cream eyeshadow or something, but I don't like it for concealer. I don't like the sponge. I probably won't use it anymore. I just don't like it. Then we have the concealer. I have to try this with the Dewy Luminous foundation because it does not work for me. This is so matte on my skin. Like, I don't even know. Like, I thought Tarte Shape Tape was matte. Like, this is like, woo! This is probably the mattest concealer I've ever tried. So I'm definitely gonna have to try it with a different foundation, and I will include that in this video as well. And then we have the powder. So this is a nice powder. I do like it, but it didn't do anything to like blow my mind. You know what I mean? Like I feel like when I use my Maybelline Fit Me Set and Smooth, I can really tell a difference. This, I could and I couldn't. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing about it that I was like, oh my god, this is my new favorite pressed powder or anything. But I am going to continue to use it, and I will use it to like set this foundation tomorrow as well, and then I'll add in if I think, you know, if there's anything else that I think, I'll add it in that as well. So yeah, I think those are, I think that's everything that I want to say in this part. So I will see you guys tomorrow trying out this foundation again, and hopefully it works out better for me. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I got so sunburned in the pool. Look at my arms. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell. They're all splotchy. I think because of my sunscreen, I use like the spray, and it didn't like spray right, so it's like really blotchy. Oh my gosh, I'm a hot mess. I also got my hair done. Super blonde now, perfect for summer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my hair back. I need to figure out a way to put my bangs back to where I don't have to go upstairs and like blow them dry, like down. It's such a pain. Anyways, so I'm gonna start off by using my e.l.f. Aqua Primer Mist. I hate the mister on that. So I'm excited to be trying out this foundation again because I think that I'm actually going to really like it. I just need to manipulate it more with primer. So I'm going to use my favorite hydrating primer. This is the Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Moisturizing Under Makeup Primer. If you have dry skin, I highly recommend this. This is the most hydrating primer I've ever used. So I'm going to take about that much. A couple breakouts too. It's always fun. Just gonna let that, I always get so red when I touch my face. I'll let that sink in for just a second. And then I'm gonna be applying it with my Eco Tools sponge. Still smells like paint. I really hope I like this foundation more now that I changed up the primer, because I think that's why I didn't like it. If that's not why, then it's probably not going to be something that I grab. I still think a little bit goes a long way, so that means you get your money's worth. Trying to build it up on top of my sunburn. So this is what my skin looks like when I used a more moisturizing primer. I thought for sure if I used the Laura Geller primer that my thoughts would change on this foundation like immediately, but it clung to this dry patch that I have right here. It went into my fine lines, my laugh lines. This side of my face looks okay, but it clung to all the dry patches underneath my eyes. It kills me when people say that foundations are for all skin types when clearly they're not, you know? So I'm going to be using my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 15 Fair. I'm going to press that in with my Morphe G38. So I definitely think it looks better, but it still doesn't look amazing to the point where it's something that I'm going to grab. Does that make sense? So I think changing up the primer did help, and using a hydrating concealer and not the super matte Morphe concealer with the Morphe foundation I think helped a lot too. I don't know. I just don't think this foundation is made for dry skin. I'm just not getting that. I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here real quick. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup and then I will come back and let you guys know what Okay, so I'm back. I'm gonna tell you guys everything that's on my face. So I set my under eyes with my e.l.f. under eye powder, and normally this makes my under eyes look really good, but with the foundation being underneath my concealer, it just clung to all this dryness right here. My under eyes look horrible. I think it's because I put that foundation underneath there, and this never does that to me. So for bronzer, I just used my Benefit Hoola Light Bronzer, and then I used a little bit of my Laura Geller Baked Impressions bronzer in the shade Light. I also ran a little bit of that on my nose. To contour my nose and my lips, I used my Milani Contour and Highlight Stick. This is in the shade Fair Light, and I just used the contour side. For blush, I used my Milani Coral Cove. For highlighter, I busted this guy out. This is from JCat. This is the Baked Highlighter in the shade White Goddess. I think it's really, really, really pretty. What else did I use? For brows, I used my Kat Von D 24 Hour Super Brow in the shade Blonde. This is so good. I set them using my Model in a Bottle Long Lasting Eyebrow Sealer. I know it looks like a nail polish, but for lips, I used Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner, and then I was trying to grab a matte lip and I grabbed this one on accident. This is a ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip. I hate these. I hate the formula, and anyways, this one's in the shade November, and then I just put a little bit of Anastasia Milkshake in the middle just to kind of like lighten it up a little bit. And then to set my face, I used my MAC Fix Plus, and then I went on top of it with Milani Make It Dewy. I thought that would bring some life back to my face, but it really didn't. So I don't think that this foundation is for me. What's weird is I feel like I had better luck with it the first time around when I used the Revitalizer primer, or maybe my skin was just doing better, but like I thought for sure if I used that Laura Geller primer that I would love this foundation, and I am just I just don't think so. I even like moisturized extra last night and again this morning just to like really hydrate my skin, and it's just not working. It's just not working for me. I think it looks okay on my forehead. It looks really cakey on my chin. Actually, I take it back. The only places that it looks decent is like my cheeks. It looks super on my forehead. It's really cakey around my nose and especially on my chin, and it did cling to all my dry patches on my under eye. Hopefully you can see, but there's like, this is gross. Like all right here, this is gross. So I do have a doctor's appointment, so I am just gonna leave this foundation on until I go to bed. So I'll probably keep it on for like 5 or 6 hours, maybe a little longer, I don't know. But I think it's 2:15 right now, so I'll probably take it off at like 8. So that's a good, what? So that's about 6 hours of wear, so I'll let you guys know, but like, yeah, I just don't think this foundation is made for dry skin, but we'll see. I'm gonna try it again. And I know I told you guys I'd come back and try that concealer with a dewy foundation. I'm still deciding whether I'm gonna do that or not, because now I'm just like, I think it's just too dry. Like the formula of the concealer and the formula of the foundation is just too drying. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't really made up my mind yet, but I will see you guys back here in a few hours. Hey guys, so I'm back. It's 9 p.m. So I think I've had this foundation on for like 7 hours, and yeah, I don't like it. I think I almost liked it more the first time I tried it, and not now. There's only like a select few of matte foundations that work for my dry skin, and this is not one of them. Eventually I'll do a video talking about what matte foundations work for my dry skin, but as of right now, this Morphe foundation will not be included, although I do like the shade of it. That's about it. I like the shade of it. I like that it's full coverage. I like that a little bit goes a long way. It's just too drying for me. And I know at the beginning of the video it said that you can mix it in with your moisturizer or mix it in with a primer. It was something like that. I don't know if I'm gonna even bother to try that, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I don't recommend this foundation if you have dry skin. But I do recommend the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation if you're looking for something around the same price range. That looks really good on my skin. So I do recommend that one. This one I don't know. I guess if you can buy this from a Morphe store and return it, I don't know what their return policy is. I've never taken anything back there. But if you wanted to try it out, maybe they give testers. Like, I don't even know that either. I would definitely suggest getting a sample first before buying it. And then we have the concealer. I wanted to love this. Like, honestly, most concealers work for me, but this one didn't. It's just too drying for my under eye, and it said it's a creamy, like, moisturizing texture. It said something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, it definitely wasn't. So I don't think I'll be trying this out anymore either. I feel like I would have to mix it in with like a more moisturizing concealer. But if you are oily and you have like an oily under eye, I think it would be really good for you. But I don't know if I would recommend the foundation for oily skin. I would definitely recommend it for oily skin over dry skin for sure. The primer, the Revitalizer primer, this was supposed to be moisturizing and hydrating, and I did not get that vibe. Maybe if I was to use this with like a dewy luminous foundation, it would work, but it doesn't work with a matte foundation on my skin. And then the last thing is the powder, which I did use to set my foundation again today. So out of all 4 products, I would recommend the powder. That's like honestly the only thing that I really liked. I feel like a little bit went a long way. I didn't have to keep building it up on my face to make my face matte, so that way I could put my bronzer on top of it. I got the shade Filter 3. So out of all 4 products, I would recommend this. Then we have like the brushes. I like this for foundation. I didn't like the concealer brush, and I do not like the sponge. So I guess that's it. Let me know if you guys have tried the Morphe primer foundation or concealer or powder in the comments below and what your skin type is. Just let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this foundation, concealer, powder, tools, primer, first impression and wear test. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video.